A very good evening from the Perth Hockey Stadium here at Curtin University.
Here from Chris Sorello Hockey and Sorello Coaching Academy. Really looking forward to having a team in Perth on this ground to play against international teams. We have teams in under 16s boys and girls and under 18 boys and girls. For more information, please contact Lou at Chris Sorello Hockey or at lou@sorellocoachingacademy.com.au. Also, come and visit us in store at Chris Sorello Hockey Shop or online and check out our great new stick, the CC5 Big Dog 95, and all our hockey accessories. Whilst there, check out our training facility with near 200 square metres of artificial turf to train on. To find out more about Sorello Coaching Academy, about our tours, coaching and training sessions, please contact Lou on the following details.
We've been told Perth was famous for its wildlife, but we didn't expect to find it so close to the city. It was just a jump away. We managed to get the most amazing family photo ever and had an unforgettable lunch with the locals. And the fruit couldn't get any fresher. Everyone was satisfied, and our trip was just getting started. It was
just another day in Western Australia.
The moment we arrived, we decided to lose ourselves in Perth. But it wasn't like getting lost in any other city. It was like we were in some kind of oasis. And then suddenly we realised that we were still in the thick of it all. It was just another day in Western Australia.
Well, it is another day in Western Australia and a first test match about to get underway here at the Perth Hockey Stadium. As I mentioned, both teams just warmed to catch up with the coach of Australia, Colin Batch, and the captain of India, Manpreet Singh, and these are their thoughts on the upcoming matches.
Obviously, there's been established lately a real history between India and Australia. Are you looking forward to these test matches?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, that we get an opportunity to play in Perth, and secondly, India, a very good side, and we're looking forward to playing against them. It's been almost 12 months since we played them, so they've come a long way. We didn't play each other in the World Cup, but here we've got two test matches, so it's great.
One thing you've said, again, it's been very difficult with the Pro League, is rather than getting teams ready for a tournament, you're having to get them ready for a match after match after match. So I would have thought these games come at an ideal time as well.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a gap in the Pro League fixture, so to play India twice here, ideal for our whole squad. We get to play those that have missed out recently, so you know, it's very valuable for us.
How difficult has it been rotating your squad, or has it been a case of just trying to work out who's going to combine best together in the various lines?
Well, there has been some reasons for it, injuries and unavailability. I think when you look at a season over 6 months and the demands of travel, you're not going to have your full team with you the whole time. So you need the depth of your squad. We've been able to use our whole squad and we've done very well. So I'm pleased with that side of it. These matches against India are another indication for players to put their hand up for selection.
I was going to ask that question. So will you be rotating your squad throughout these two test matches?
Yeah, look, we haven't quite finalised Friday's selection, but the anticipation is that we'll play everyone over the two matches.
And obviously India, as you said, have improved out of sight. They haven't played for a while. Certainly their fans back in India haven't seen them play for a while. So they're going to be really up for this, aren't they?
Yeah, it's great that it is streamed, the matches, and I'm sure there's a lot of interest in India. So, yeah, very good.
And obviously a new coach for them as well in the Australian Graham Reid, who might think he knows the players, but you've been playing a different system now.
Yeah, he's he's spent a lot of time here, Graham, of course, and then spent a short time in the Netherlands, coaching there. So it's good to see him back as the head coach. He'll bring another perspective to the Indian team, and we've already seen that in the matches that they've played.
Well, thanks very much, and all the best for the 2 games.
Thanks, Ashley.
Well, Manpreet, another series against Australia. There's a real rivalry building between these two countries now, isn't there?
I don't think about it. I think it's good for the Indian hockey because they are playing pro league, and for us it's a really good opportunity to play good matches before the Olympic qualifier.
Certainly is. Now, the last time you played was a 1-1 draw in the Champions Trophy, so are you expecting a tight series?
Yeah, I expect that, because Australia is a really good team and they always play with that lot of soft attacking hockey and everything. So I expect that, and we prepare for those matches, and we played yesterday with also draw, and hopefully there's no next 2 matches, and that matches will be really great.
How has your time been in Perth? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's always been enjoying here. Whenever it's my 3rd time being here, so I always enjoy her. It's really beautiful city and really quiet and peaceful.
Now, obviously, you know a lot of the players through the Hockey India League. Do you sort of rib them a little bit before the game and say, we're going to get one over you?
Yeah, we always joke around. I have friends, Daniel Beale and Tyler Lobos, and Neil Kindon, and most of the players, we played with them in HAL. So we always joke around, and I always pull their legs and everything. We always make a lot of fun.
Well, it should be a very tight series. Let's hope it's an enjoyable one. And are you picking India to win both games?
Yeah, obviously.
Well, we wish you all the best, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well, as you heard there from Manpreet Singh, he's in absolutely no doubt that India are going to win these 2 test matches here in Perth. The first match due to get underway in about 5 or so minutes. So the team's still just warming up. Then they'll be coming off the pitch for the national anthems to line up. But we're going to turn our attention now to the team lineups, the squads for this team. India only brought a squad of 18 to Australia with them. But to me, the players to look out for today, I think, are their forward line. Sumit Kumar looked really good in their warm-up games against Western Australia and Australia A. The other player, Mandeep Singh, who I'm a big fan of, I think he can do remarkable things. Akashdeep Singh is another one wearing number 27. But look out when he comes off the bench, wearing number 65, Jaskaran Singh. It's his debut for India here today, so a very special day for him. And of course, watch for India rotating their goalkeepers and Harmanpreet Singh from penalty corners. If we turn our attention to Australia, well, again, Johan Durst gets the nod in goal for them. This is just his 2nd test match for the Kookaburras, and so obviously a big day for him. For me, the key players are going to be the defence for Australia. I think Matt Dawson is going to be crucial, along with Jeremy Hayward. Tim Howard, when he comes off the bench wearing number 16, again is one of the players at the back that is going to have to marshal the troops. And then they're going to need goals if they're going to beat India. And the 2 players that I see that are going to be crucial up front are Daniel Beale and Trent Mitten, with Flynn Ogilvie, one of the supply chains, along with Jake Wetton. So that's my thoughts on the team lineups and the players to look out for. The game, of course, will be umpired by Tim Pullman from Australia and Matthew Claxton, and we wish them all the best. I was talking to Tim Pullman, who seems to have dropped off the international umpiring list of late. Sadly, he was saying he had business commitments, and then he's dropped down the rankings at the moment. But hopefully he'll be back soon, because he is an extremely good umpire, in my opinion. Well, the teams are coached Australia by Colin Batch, India by Graham Reid, and of course Graham Reid has already coached Australia, and not only that, he played with Colin Batch for the Kookaburras many years ago. Well, the players are just getting ready down below us to make their way out. Some final high fives from the Indian players, and the Australian players just lining up. I'm sure there's a few butterflies in the chest of Johan Durst, just getting some words of encouragement from Matt Dawson and Tim Howard alongside him. Very popular player within the squad. Of course, came in after he replaced Tristan Clemens, who actually announced his retirement and moved to the USA. So if Tristan is watching, I know he still takes an avid interest in the Kookaburras. We hope you're well over there in Chicago, and the new addition to the family is also very well. Well, flags are out. Well, we are almost underway here now at the Perth Hockey Stadium. Players are lined up down below us, ready to make their way out onto the turf. By my estimations, we have about a minute or so to go till 5 o'clock, so I'm not sure whether we're going to get away bang on time, but hopefully we will do. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the sponsors that have made this live stream of these matches against India possible, and that is the Sorello Coaching Academy. And you can contact them for information about the coaching courses that they do with Chris Sorello or his father Lou Sorello, and that is at the sorellocoachingacademy.com.au. And of course we'd also like to thank our sponsors from India, because they're trying to promote for Indians to come and visit Western Australia. It's a wonderful place to live, it's a wonderful place to visit, and if you're thinking about it and you're watching this in India, please contact makemytrip.com for further details on specials to come and visit this wonderful state in Australia. The players have made their way out, and we will have the national anthems sung today. And first up, we're going to have the Indian national anthem sung by Chandeep Kaur, who comes from the Punjab. She moved to Australia 5 years ago. Is currently in a band called Expedition, available for functions, and she also runs a music school. And she will be singing the national anthem of India, Jana Gana Mana.
Please, a big round of applause for Chandeep from our Indian community. Fantastic.
So that was the national anthem of Australia. We will now have, of India rather, we'll now have Advance Australia Fair sung from the choir from Presbyterian Ladies College as they make their way forward with their microphones. As you would expect, some generous applause for the national anthem of Australia. And it was very well sung by young ladies from Presbyterian Ladies College. As we see the players now just going through one final handshake, and then the 125th Test match between these two nations can get underway. It should be an absolute cracker. They always are. And let's not forget that it was back in 2014 that India came to Western Australia, played in Perth and won 3 games back-to-back. And that was the first time that Australia had lost 3 games in a row since 2005. So it was 9 years that they'd held that record, and I'm sure these Kookaburras, those wearing the green and gold of Australia, will not want a similar record today. They'll be looking to get a victory over India. A lot of the players have played in the games for Australia A, and for those of you who haven't kept track of the matches while India have been in Western Australia, they beat the Western Australian team by 2-0. Barindra Lakra scoring a field goal and Harmanpreet Singh with a penalty corner. Then they beat Australia A 3-0 with Sumit getting 2 field goals and Rupinder Pal getting a penalty corner. And then in the final game, which was on Monday against Australia A, they drew 1-1. Harmanpreet rather getting his 2nd goal of the tour with yet another penalty corner. Well, Srijesh makes his way down to the far end with his bag of kit over his shoulder. And the substitutes make their way over to the benches for both sides. Good to see Josh Belts back out there for Australia. He's had such a bad run of injuries. Hopefully now he doesn't have another injury until he makes his retirement announcement, hopefully in about, let's say 7 or 8 years' time. Still a young man. Well, it will be Australia to get us underway. Trent Mitten over the ball, the whistle goes, and this 125th Test match between these two great hockey nations is underway. Jake Wetton brings the ball down. Immediately Australia going on the attack and took a deflection, so Flynn Ogilvie quite happy to let that run out of play, and Jake Wetton has taken the long corner very quickly. Beale feeds it into the circle, but good defensive play in the end coming from Barindra Lakra. Ball thrown long and in the air, brought down brilliantly by Matt Dawson. Govers collects wide. Already there's a tempo to this match and we're not even 30 seconds in. Stolen by India. Good work from Surinder, who fed it to Sumit. Now it's Manpreet in the midfield. Manpreet being chased all the way by Aaron Zalewski. Of course, Aaron Zalewski made his debut against India down in Bunbury. That was quite a while ago now, 2011. He scored in the 57th minute in a 5-0 victory, so India always has special memories for him when it comes to Test matches. Never forget your debut. Jake Wetton, good pass to him, finding Jake Harvey. And of course, Jake Harvey with strong connections with India, as his grandfather being an Anglo-Indian, one of the famous Pierce brothers. Forward, managing to find Mandeep. Mandeep trying to get the better of Dawson, just slipped momentarily. India again looking to move the ball quickly. Into the circle it goes, and needed to be a good touch from Ockenden, but Akashdeep is there, good dummy from him. Eventually plays it back to Surinder. And Mr. Ice himself, Harmanpreet at the back. Comes to Harmanpreet again. I think I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ashley Morrison anyway, looking forward to sharing the action with you from the Perth Hockey Stadium. And that's lifted into the body of Aaron Zalewski. So Zalewski self passes and now feeds it forward to Daniel Beale. Beale faced with Surinder. Manpreet ran across him. The last time these two teams met was in the final of the Champions Trophy in Breda in the Netherlands, and finished in a 1-1 draw, and then Australia managed to win the shootout 3-1. I was fortunate to be commentating that match, and I have to say that India probably deserved to win it. It was Tyler Lovell who prevented them doing so, as Eddie Ockenden breaks forward. Akashdeep just dinking that one onto the foot of Ockenden, so it will be a free hit to India. Blake Govers scored a penalty corner, and Vivek Prasad scored the other goal for India to tie things up. So Harmanpreet now, Rupinder down the line. It's good to see Rupinder Pal Singh back in action for India. It's been a while. Of course, he picked up an injury at the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast and then also at the Asian Games. And this is his first hit out with the Indian squad since the Asian Games. And of course, they were held back in August and September of last year. Good collection by Beale, making himself available. Plays it wide now to Dawson. Dawson looks to put some pace onto that, but it was intercepted well by Kookaburras. And that was just taken away from Kookaburras. Kookaburras may be a new name to some of the Australian fans. He played at the Sultan Aslan Shah Cup, made his debut there this year. 20 years of age, so this is just his 7th cap to date. Hails from the Gurdaspur district. That's a lovely pass, and it is Kookaburras in the corner. Well, did that come off the foot of Jeremy Hayward? Yes, it did. So the first penalty corner goes the way of India. And this is a really good opportunity for them to open the scoring. Rupinder Pal is on the pitch, just trying to see if Harmanpreet is. Yes, he is. He's just got some advice from Chris Sorello. And, of course, Chris Sorello has a new stick out, the CC5 Big Dog 95. And of course, Sorello was great from penalty corners, so if you want to be as good as Chris, maybe that stick could be the answer. So Akashdeep makes his way down to the baseline. Harmanpreet is at the first battery. Rupinder Pal at the second. Harmanpreet has looked really good in the warm-up games. I'm sure he'll be the preferred option. As a hush comes over Perth Hockey Stadium, waiting for the whistle. And the ball was played in before the whistle was blown. And so we're going to have to go back. Of course, there was such a long delay. Everybody was ready. Often they leave it to the last second. So Rupinder Pal now just striding back, leans on his stick. The whistle goes now. Akashdeep goes in, it's stopped. Harmanpreet sweeps straight into the first runner, Jeremy Hayward, who caught it on the shins. So it will be a retake. So good running by Hayward. Have to have not only pace but a lot of courage to be the first runner and run down the likes of Harmanpreet, to get plenty of pace on their flicks. So will they get a Harmanpreet again? Akashdeep at the baseline. Manpreet stops, Harmanpreet sweeps again. This time it's good work coming from Trent Mitten off his stick, and it goes out for a long corner. So good defence from Australia, obviously done their homework on India's penalty corners. Tim Pullman just wanting the ball to be exactly where it crossed the baseline, so Manpreet had to move across to the right-hand side. Harmanpreet now being pressed by Trent Mitten. Trent Mitten, of course, who missed the FIH Pro League match in Argentina after picking up a hand injury in New Zealand. There was fears it was going to be a serious injury, but the good news is not as bad as at first thought, and that's why he's out there playing today. And Trent Mitten has been in great form, certainly in the Hockey Western Australia Premier League. He's the leading goal scorer at the moment with 11 goals, and I think it's just 5 matches. He did score 8 in one match, breaking a long-standing record in the competition. Jake Wetton, busy as ever, closed down and put under immense pressure by Hardik. Free hit goes to Wetton, but he took it from the wrong spot, so has to come back. Tim Howard now. Oh, and a mistrap in the corner from Eddie Ockenden. 5.5 minutes gone, and we've seen both teams are certainly looking to play at pace. Both teams, as we heard from Manpreet Singh in the interview prior to the game, love to attack. Manpreet on the ball, beautiful pass from him to pick out Surrender. Now Nilakanta plays it off Eddie Ockenden. Eddie Ockenden gives him a little bit of afters. Lucky not to get a card. Over the side it goes again off Ockenden. That just shows you that this is a game that Australia want to win. They're not taking it lightly. There's no such thing as a friendly. Eddie Ockenden playing his 346th international. Mandeep gets a free hit. Eddie Ockenden coming into that space, the 5 metre zone as the overhead pass is thrown. Surrender drilled into the circle. Ockenden collects and plays it wide. Howard put under immense pressure. It was stolen away from him across the face of goal. Dawson helps out. Good work again coming from Nilakanta Sharma. So now Surrender just moving the ball forward. Rupinder. Kleinschmidt now trying to close him down. Manages to force him back. Good work coming from Aaron Kleinschmidt. Hardik goes to Harmanpreet. Took a deflection off Blake Govers. Sees possession now with Tim Brand. Belts goes back to Dawson, who's allowed to carry it up the middle. Goes back out to Josh Belts. Zalewski. Australia have tended to use the flanks, certainly in the 7 minutes. We haven't seen Zalewski on the ball too much through the midfield. Howard carries over half-way line. Vivek got a touch on that and it went into the air dangerously, so it'll be a free hit for Australia. Zalewski now on the ball. He flicks it wide to Lachlan Sharp, brought it down and, well, free hit just outside the D because, again, we see that player, Nilakantha Sharma, coming in that 5 metres before he hit into Lachlan Sharp. Real desperation stuff coming in there from Kleinschmidt, but it's India breaking forward. Hardik switches play onto the left-hand side. Taking a tumble is Jaskaran, but he's won a free hit for his team. The man making his debut today, 24-year-old from Jalandhar. Same place as Manpreet, Mandeep and Varun Kumar, who's not actually here playing on this tour. Comes back to Surrender Kumar. He just gives it a flick forward. Misdirected, though, the Australians, Howard and Govers, getting a bit of a mix-up, but luckily for Australia, it runs out over the baseline. So it will be a 16 to them. India, not surprisingly, not giving the ball back. They want to all get onside and make sure that they're in a good position. So Mandeep cutting out the pass back across the defensive line. Ockenden, well, 3 players were in his space, and in the end it was Gurinder who was penalised for just stepping into that 5-metre zone. It's been the undoing of both teams so far in this first quarter when the ball has been thrown to the air. No one wanting to give an inch. Lachlan Sharp, lovely turn from him, just slipping though as he managed to pull away from Vivek Prasad. But Sharp recovers, gets the free hit. Now it's Ogilvie. Good pass infield to Lachlan Sharp. Lovely dink past Akashdeep. Now it comes wide to Daniel Beale. Beale, usually such great close skills. Got the better of Surrender Kumar. Battling to get it back though is Brand. And it's great defensive play again from Harmanpreet. Just leaving the ball for Harmanpreet. Beale down on the ground, his stick flat on the ground. Free hit given to Australia, and Harmanpreet not getting out of the way at all. But he was making an attempt to retreat, hence just a free hit and no card. Jake Harvey gets the foul from Sumit Kumar. Again, Australia play on quickly. Hayward looking for a deflection from Ogilvie, kept alive inside the circle by Brand. Up in the air it goes off Barendra Lakra's stick, and then it just catches the foot of the Australian player as Lakra played it out of the circle. So no real shots at the moment from either side as we're approaching the final 4 minutes 30 of the first quarter. But boy, what a pace this game has started at. There's a touch off the Australian. No, there wasn't. It was an Australian free hit down in the corner. And India now with a high press. Jake Harvey leaves it for Tim Howard. Howard self passes, carries it up the side. India back off, but this time Surrender picks it out, feeds it to Vivek. Vivek, future captain of India, a lot of people are saying, as Manpreet gets fouled by Trent Mitten. His stick goes flying. Australia just trying to organise now. Barendra Lakra, lovely skills. And it's broken across the circle, deflected over the baseline by Howard. Manpreet. Barendra Lakra coming back into the defensive line for India. Manpreet runs laterally across the pitch. Harmanpreet. It's good pressure from Australia, just forcing India backwards at the moment. Trent Mitten forcing an error from Harmanpreet and forcing him very wide. And Harmanpreet, though, in the end, a lovely little sway of the hips and a swish of the stick, and he's gone. Now it's Nilakanta Sharma looking to feed it back to Harmanpreet. It was a great pass, but unfortunately for India, Harmanpreet just couldn't get on the end of it. What a pass that was from Nilakanta Sharma. So Australia again look to play a diagonal pass in the air across the pitch. Great work from Harvey to almost get inside the circle. Govers trying to steal it back. Kotajit just played it. It appeared off the foot of Jake Wetton. In fact, the whistle goes and decision confirms that. Once again, just like to thank our sponsors who've made this live stream possible. If you're looking to come to Western Australia from India, please make sure you contact makemytrip.com. Specialists in holidays to this part of the world from India. And also the Chris Sorella Coaching Academy, based in Melbourne, but they will come wherever they are required. Chris Sorella, part of the coaching team with India, but his father Lou involved in his son's business. Great block from Aaron Zalewski. Akashdeep now cutting in from the right-hand side. Great skills from Akashdeep. Played it towards the baseline. Hayward had it covered, but again, real live wire action. Arman Kreshi it was coming in, and Hayward had to run all the way with him to make sure he didn't get a clean run at goal. Dawson carries it forward again, looks for the diagonal pass. Beale brought it down superbly. Beale manages to pick out Mitten. Mitten looking to just duck inside. Mitten just inside the circle on the reverse stick, but he just lifted that too high. Well, I mentioned the reverse stick. I should just thank the boys from the podcast, The Reverse Stick, who they gave us some cakes they brought up to the commentary box when we had the FIH Pro League match here, and they've done the same again today. So thank you, guys. We've got some more exceedingly good cakes from the guys at the Reverse Stick. Much appreciated. Can't eat them, though, while we're on air. So we're in the final minute of the first quarter. Comes wide to Eddie Okinen. Plenty of space for Harvey. Closed down, though, by Akashdeep. So infield he goes. Crossfield, again, Hardeep doing well, closing him down. Govers wide, absolutely drills that, and it's the first penalty corner of the match for Australia with under 30 seconds left on the clock. There's a little bit of an inquest, I think, as to how that ball got through, but to be honest, it was hit with a lot of power by Blake Govers, and there were plenty of players in the way before it looked as if it caught the foot of Harmanpreet. So Australia with their first penalty corner of the match. Can they convert this? Jeremy Hayward stands at the first battery. Blake Govers at the second. Beale to inject from the baseline. Shift to the left by Hayward. Gets hold of it. Good flick. Great save, Srijesh. But a penalty stroke has been given. India, I think, asking the question as to why this is a stroke. The umpires are going to confer, which is, well, no, they're not going to confer. The stroke is going to stand. So Australia have a really good chance to open the scoring right at the end of the first quarter. Blake Govers has stepped forward. Srijesh has just wandered behind his goal, just having a quick drink. Not sure whether he's got instructions written on his water bottle, a la Maddie Hinch at the Rio Olympic Games. Srijesh goes into a deep squat. Blake Govers just adjusting the grip on his stick. Srijesh in position. Govers, can he give Australia the lead? He can indeed. The right-hand side, and Srijesh, there was nothing he could do. That was brilliant from Blake Govers. And so Australia have a 1-0 lead. So a really good start. Blake Govers with his 68th international goal in this, his 85th international match. That is a good record by anyone's standards. course, he is helped that the fact that he's a forward and he is a drag flicker as well. 2 balls on the pitch, but we're going to come back, and that will be the end of, I think, the first quarter. The hooter goes. Colin Batch comes out from the dugout, and it has been a scintillating first 15 minutes that have absolutely flown by. Both teams on the attack, but it is Australia leading by 1-0 at the end of the first break.
Perth was famous for its wildlife, but we didn't expect to find it so close to the city. It was just a jump away. We managed to get the most amazing family photo ever and had an unforgettable lunch with the locals. And the fruit couldn't get any fresher. Everyone was satisfied, and our trip was just getting started. It was
Just another day in Western Australia.
The moment we arrived, we decided to lose ourselves in Perth. But it wasn't like getting lost in any other city. It was like we were in some kind of oasis. And then suddenly we realised that we were still in the thick of it all. It was just another day in Western Australia.
Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. The players making their way out for the second quarter. Rotation of goalkeepers for India. Krishan Pathak is under the bar for the second quarter. Expect to see India doing that from quarter to quarter. It will be Australia to get the second quarter underway. Blake Govers, the goal scorer. The hooter goes, the whistle goes, and we're underway. The second 15 minutes, whether it'll be paid at the same pace, we'll have to wait and see. Manpreet showing his desperation. Tom Craig steals it back for Australia. I mentioned this is the 125th meeting between these two teams, and there's a really interesting stat, which I'll tell you in a second, as India win a free hit just inside the 23 metres. So they have to play the ball 5 metres. In fact, it's been given just outside, so could have been played directly into the circle. Hardik back to Rupinder Pal. And just a flick of the wrist by Rupinder out to Kotajit, wide on the left-hand side, and off the stick it goes of Arman Kreshi, long corner. Just got a touch off the Australian stick. Rupinder again advances. Oh, you managed to get away from Kleinschmidt. Good pass to the top of the circle. Turn was from Akashdeep. Australia, though, steal it back. Tim Brand held up by Akashdeep. Coming ground. Fairly quick speed. Akashdeep's stick, getting that. Manpreet keeps it in play. There's danger here. 2 Indian players free. Gosabajit feeds it to Akashdeep. Came up off the stick of Ockenden again, and Akashdeep surrounded. Kept in play by Tim Brand. Ockenden bumped off the ball, though, unfairly by Gosabajit. Free hit to Australia. And the stat I was going to raise was one that was raised by B.G. Joshi, the great Indian hockey historian, who was saying that since the 1976 Olympic Games, when artificial turf came in, India have just won 15 matches against Australia in 115 meetings. So I think that just shows you how maybe the lack of turf early on in India held them back, and then Australia really did come to the fore in terms of dominance in international hockey. But India are on the way back. They're 5 in the world at the moment. Australia ranked 2. And I think that score in Breda confirmed that they are not far away. A 1-1 draw in the final of the Champions Trophy. In the pool game, it was pretty close there, 3-2. Though Australia were leading 3-1 until 2 minutes to go when Harmanpreet scored. Here come Australia now with Zalewski. The crowd is really beginning to fill up, which is great to see for a midweek game here at the Perth Hockey Stadium. 5 o'clock start, making it quite difficult for people who've got jobs to get here for the very start of the match, as Manpreet carries it forward. Closed down by Josh Belts. Manpreet, though, keeps possession of the ball. Has to double back into the circle it goes, but well, it was lifted, but not dangerous according to the umpires, and Barindra Lakra will collect. He plays an under-hit pass back to Surrender. Now Lakra with a little bit of space. Belts in front of him, and that was deflected off Eddie Okkanen, and it needed to be, because there was real danger inside the circle. Summit was lurking right in front of Johan Durst's goal. Durst, I don't think, has had a save to make as yet. Akashdeep tries to turn top of the circle. He's appealing for a penalty corner, but the decision is it came off his foot, so it'll be free hit to Australia. Once again, if you're looking to visit and plan a trip to Western Australia from India and you're watching this live stream in India, we would ask you to support one of our sponsors, that is MakeMyTrip.com, specialists in tours to this part of the world and to Western Australia. Daniel Beale now, bit of space on the left-hand side. Barindra loses his stick, pulls to Mitten, and a penalty corner being given for a back stick. Barindra Lakra and Trent Mitten, they would be teammates from their Ranchi Rays days, or Ranchi Rhinos as well. Hence the conversation going on between the two of them. But Australia with a second penalty corner. Reminder, they got a stroke from the first, which Blake Govers managed to convert. Can they get a second goal now? Jeremy Hayward just making a mark on the edge of the circle. Jake Wetton will be doing the stopping for him. Alongside is Trent Mitten, but they go to Hayward. Good stop by Wetton, good save again by Srijesh, but up, oh sorry, Patak it was. It came up off his pads high into the circle, which deemed dangerous. So we do have another penalty corner. Patak, who played for Darbang Mumbai in the Hockey India League underneath David Hart, and I'm sure that was a great experience for him to pick up a lot of tips from the great Irishman. Swept by Hayward, and this time he gets past Patak, and Australia have a second goal. Hayward flicked that low to the left-hand side, and Patak, who's a slightly shorter man than Srijesh, found it very hard to get his pad across and keep that one out. The postman had stepped forward, he was beaten. So it is Australia 2, India 1. Sorry, India 0 rather. Sure, they wish it was 1. Well, Australia have really upped the ante in this game. A deflection takes it towards Patak. Again, he's off his line really quickly and clears it over the side. Then Sharp to Ogilvie. Ogilvie hemmed in the corner. Nilakanta. There's one of those making it difficult for him, along with Gurinder. And Rapinda just carrying it forward. He's cheeky by Rapinda Bal. Taking a tumble is Hardik, which sees possession go back to Australia. Oh, that was clever from Jake Wetton. And a big grin on his face. He just slipped and then swung his stick and managed to deflect. I think it was onto the foot of Barindra Lakra. And a penalty corner goes Australia's way. So 2 mistakes in quick succession where players slipped. India lost possession. And then Australia, Jake Wetton slipping. And then he wins a penalty corner with some great improvisation inside the circle. So Patak is just limbering up in his goal. So fast on his feet. So it's Hayward at the top of the circle, and alongside him is Trent Mitten. I'm sure it'll be Jeremy Hayward again. He shifted to the right this this time. Good stop from Wetton. Not a good collection, though. Falls back and into the circle. Swing on the reverse stick. And that's straight into the chest of Patak from Daniel Beale. A really good save by the keeper, who was well positioned. And it was almost a comedy of errors inside the circle. A swing from Mitten. The ball fell to Beale. So Josh Belts now. Belts has a decision gone against him. Mentioned the bad run of injuries he had. He had a hip injury that delayed his debut for Australia. And then back in 2013 playing for Diamondbacks in Tasmania. He had apparently a horrific broken leg. And of course in 2017 at the International Festival of Hockey, fractured his patella, so he missed most of 2018. So it's great to see him back out there, and hopefully he gets a good run injury-free. Kotagi just pushing the ball forward. Trent Mitten just letting Rupinder know this time where he should take the free hit from. And again, we're seeing a real physicality as Beale took a tumble as he collided with Manpreet. Kotagi. Barendra Lakra. Plenty of pace on that one, and Surrender can't keep it in play. Ogilvie just places it on the side, and Jake Wetton collects and pushes it now into the path of Ogilvie. Can he keep it in play? No, it just runs away from him. Now Vivek Prasad, good pass from him. Nilakanta Sharma. Oh, that's a lovely pass forward. But it's a good steal from Hayward, just taking it away from Akashdeep. In fact, it was Gasabajit, my apologies. Plenty of talk amongst the Australian players as they look to shift across the pitch. Vivek, who just lost control of that. He's given possession back to Australia. Good break forward from Tim Brand. Lachlan Sharp finding him, looking to overlap. What a pass to Kleinschmidt. Kleinschmidt on the turn, just past the left-hand post. Well, that was good interplay, and Brand with a lovely pass to pick out Aaron Kleinschmidt. Kishan Patak a little bit relieved that that one went past his post. Aaron Kleinschmidt, who played for the Camberwell Hockey Club in Victoria, won their Fairest and Best Award in 2012 and 13. Also won the Colin Batch Award in Victoria for the highest goal scorer in that competition, named after the coach of the Kookaburras. So now Tom Craig looking to close down. Kotagi receiving that ball perfectly and then pulling away from Kleinschmidt. Plays it infield. What a collection, top of the circle. Nilakanta Sharma. Durst has lost it. It's underneath his body, and it will be a penalty corner. Well, in the end, he recovered really well, Johan Durst. Nilakanta Sharma looked as if he was going to get a shot. The ball looked as if it was going to break free for Akashdeep, but in the end, it was brilliantly smothered by Johan Durst. Made his debut in Germany, against Germany, in a warm-up match before the Champions Trophy, Johan Durst. He again had his progress delayed when he had to have structural damage to his hip in 2014. So had to have an operation to fix that before he could resume on his path to try and play for the Kookaburras. So congratulations to him out there for his second cap, his first ever in Australia. And now he's got to face Harmanpreet. Surinder Kumar standing at the top of the circle, and I think we've got somebody going too early. May have been that the injection was just a little bit early that time, coming from Jaskaran. Tim Pullman just going down to the baseline and having a quiet word. Jaskaran, as we mentioned, making his debut, so probably very keen to get on with things. So Harmanpreet at the first battery. Surinder just waiting at the second, but just a standing wait. And now Australia, Hayward has been sent to the halfway, so there'll be one defender left, and less rather. And they're saying that it was almost like a fake from India. The whistle went, but on the whistle, the Australians started to go rather than when the ball was played. So third time lucky. Jaskaran from the baseline. Tim Pullman on the whistle. Blows. Out it comes. It's not a good trap this time from Manpreet, but Harmanpreet gets it. And it's an abstraction using his stick. And India trying to stop Australia playing on quickly. Good receive by Daniel Beale on halfway. He accelerates. Brilliant pass to Kleinschmidt. Played in. Great defence though by Manpreet inside the circle. Now it's a chance for India to break forward. Harmanpreet still up the pitch. Looking for support on his left. He had it on his right-hand side now from Barindra. He dummies, goes infield. Barindra does really well to get the better of Eddie Ockenden. Gets a free hit just outside the circle. Takes it the 5 metres. In he goes. And that's good defence from Matthew Dawson. Beale again. And that's clever by Daniel Beale. Just finding the foot. And there was absolutely nothing that Hardik could do to get out of the way of that one. So we're approaching the final 5 minutes of the first half and the second quarter. Thanks again to Cirillo Coaching Academy for their support of this live stream, and also MakeMyTrip.com in India as Akashdeep steals in the circle. Well, no, he doesn't. It's a free hit conceded by Zalewski, and it's a really misplaced pass by Jaskaran, trying to feed it into the path of Hardik. And that was lovely skills by Tom Craig. Craig is fast. Harmanpreet doesn't commit. Craig, great pass inside the circle. Shot on the turn, it's deflected over the bar by Kotterjee. Well, Kleinschmidt again firing the ball in front of the goal, getting a round of applause, but Kotterjee, it was deemed in the end, I think, dangerous and lifted too high, but Kotterjee didn't know that when he made that save and just lifted it over the crossbar. Akashdeep looking lively. Hardik now dinks it past the player, looking to feed it into, and it is a penalty corner. And that was good work. Sumit just winning that as he was obstructed at the top of the circle. So India with another penalty corner, their 5th. Can they turn this now into a goal? The last one was a missed trap at the top of the circle. If they get it right, really dangerous in the warm-up games. Scored in the Australia A game on Monday. They'd really love a goal now, just before the half-time break. And Akashdeep will do the injecting this time, and once more we see the umpire just going across and saying, don't delay. When the whistle goes, let's play it in. The whistle is gone. Akashdeep goes to the first match by Harmanpreet. Good save by Durst. Makes a double save on the rebound. It came back to Harmanpreet and Johan Durst. Great save. Well, that'll give himself confidence there. Craig tries to burst forward past Kotterjee. Kotterjee is quick, but he bounced off Craig. Into the circle it goes, trying to turn his Govers. Govers looking for a penalty corner. Not happy with the decision from Matthew Claxton. Claxton, though, I think was right that Govers just lifting it a little bit high when he was trying to win that penalty corner. Hardik now splits the two players. It comes wide to Gurinder. Gurinder's got on the overlap Nilakanta Sharma, and off it comes of Jake Harvey, and Jake Wetton now carries forward. Finds Tom Craig again, looking for a burst of pace from him once more. I think he's looking for a breather. He's had 2 fairly strong runs from inside his own half, Tom Craig. This game continues to be played at a very high pace. Lovely skills from Akashdeep. Akashdeep, though, just dumping the ball behind Nilakanta Sharma. And Hardik helping him out. Barindra Lakra. Can India find a goal before half-time? Matthew Dawson mistrapped from him. Vivek Prasad, though, wins the free hit. It's going to be inside the circle. He's got to go the 5 metres. Did that go 5 metres? Up in the air it goes, and unfortunately it's off the foot of Mandeep, or up off his stick, which made it dangerous. I think it caught the foot before it went on to his stick, personally. And I said pre-match I thought Australia's defence were going to have to work hard. They've done a very good job keeping Akashdeep, Mandeep, Sumit quiet in this first half as Hardik penalised through the legs of Lachlan Sharp. Saw a statistic in the match against New Zealand in the FIH Pro League where someone, not sure if it's true, but someone was saying that Matthew Dawson, Australia didn't concede while he was on the pitch, and what a key part he was of their defence. There's no doubt he's a key part of their defence. Just about to receive the ball now. Goes on the reverse stick. That is a super pass on the reverse stick. Govers now, edge of the D, goes on a reverse stick himself, and he's put that into the crowd, and boy did he get underneath that with some pace, but it was a long, long way off target. So we're approaching the final minute of the first half. So if India are going to find a goal, they need to find it quickly. Almost a very good little touch forward from Sumit, but it comes back to Australia. Zalewski pushes wide. Lachlan Sharp down the line he goes. Infield it comes. Hardik, who's had plenty of touches, goes back to Rupinder Pal. Now Surrender Kumar. Hardik again, great to see him demanding the ball. Nilakanta, heavy touch from him, and he's lost it out to Tim Howard. Howard to Sharp. And that's a great pass from Tim Howard. Tom Craig. Craig accelerates away from Hardik again. Top of the circle, he played that one into the shins of Rupinder Pal. And Tom Craig puts his hands on his hips and takes a few deep breaths. He's been working extremely hard, and Australia now have their 5th penalty corner of the match. And they scored at this point right at the end of the first quarter. Are they going to do it again right at the end of the second quarter? Well, we'll have to wait and see. The instructions coming on from Matthew Dawson. Once more we see Kishan Pathak going through his little knee jerks and warming up. One of the players with Harendra Singh's Junior World Cup winning side, Pathak. So it's Blake Govers at the first battery, Trent Mitten at the second. They go to the second, and it's a change and a really unfortunate off the post, and a touch as well from Pathak. Just clipped the outside of the post. Trap from Howard, and Rupinder with a very heavy challenge. Free hit will go Australia's way, I think, or is it going to be a ball from the side? It's not going to matter because the hooter is gone. That is the end of the first half, and it has been an absolute thriller. Australia managing to find a second goal in the 20th minute, courtesy of a penalty corner. Jeremy Hayward beating Krishan Pathak low down to his left-hand side, and that was just adding to the goal from Blake Govers in the 15th minute from a penalty stroke conceded by Sridhar. So at half-time, it's Australia 2, India 0.
How did I end up here? It started on the short ferry ride from Perth to Rottnest Island. The dolphins knew how to get there. We couldn't resist diving into the... Oh, no, wait. First we checked out the island from above and then we hit the water. We must have trekked that whole island from one end to the other. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, I topped it off with a selfie with a quokka. It was just
another day in Western Australia.
Hi guys, Chris Sorello here from Chris Sorello Hockey and Sorello Coaching Academy. Really looking forward to having a team here in Perth on this ground to play against international teams. We have teams in under 16s boys and girls and under 18 boys and girls. For more information, please contact Lou at Chris Sorello Hockey or at lou@sorellocoachingacademy.com.au. Also, come and visit us in store at Chris Sorello Hockey Shop or online, and check out our great new stick, the CC5 Big Dog 95, and all our hockey accessories. Whilst there, check out our training facility with near 200 square metres of artificial turf to train on. To find out more about Sorello Coaching Academy, about our tours, coaching and training sessions, please contact Lou on the following details.
We discovered there were so many different sides to Perth. The Fremantle markets were alive with all these sights and smells, and the most charming little stalls. It was a feast for the senses. And the fresh food in the harbour, that feast was too good to share. But we did share a photo with our friends back home. Okay, maybe it was more than one photo. It was
Just another day in Western Australia.
The moment we arrived, we decided to lose ourselves in Perth. But it wasn't like getting lost in any other city. It was like we were in some kind of oasis. And then suddenly we realised that we were still in the thick of it all. It was
Just another day in Western Australia.
We spent the afternoon checking out Perth's amazing street art. But as the sun went down, the entire city came alive with colour. There were so many places to explore. We ate as much as we could handle. The city was just buzzing. And at the end of the night, it was easy to find a place to relax. But our trip didn't stop there. It was
just another day in Western Australia.
Hi guys, Chris Sorello here from Chris Sorello Hockey and Sorello Coaching Academy. Really looking forward to having a team here in Perth on this ground to play against international teams. We have teams in under 16s boys and girls and under 18 boys and girls. For more information, please contact Lou at Chris Sorello Hockey or at lou@sorellocoachingacademy.com.au. Also, come and visit us in store at Chris Sorello Hockey Shop or online and check out our great new stick, the CC5 Big Dog 95, and all our hockey accessories. Whilst there, check out our training facility with near 200 square metres of artificial turf to train on. To find out more about Sorello Coaching Academy, about our tours, coaching and training sessions,
We discovered there were so many different sides to Perth. The Fremantle markets were alive with all these sights and smells, and the most charming little stalls. It was a feast for the senses. And the fresh seafood on the harbour, that feast was too good to share. But we did share a photo with our friends back home. Okay, maybe it was more than one photo. It was
Just another day in Western Australia.
Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. Australia have made their way back out for the third quarter and the second half of this match. Currently leading by 2-0. Goals courtesy of Blake Govers and Jeremy Hayward, a penalty stroke and a penalty corner. So Graham Reid, the new coach of India, is going to have had some inspirational words. Appointed just in April of this year. So it's his first game in charge, having been formerly the coach of the Kookaburras. And he'll really want to get his team off to a winning start if he can. But I hate to say, the odds are stacked against India when you look at their record overall. This is the 125th match between these two teams. India have won 22, Australia have won 82, and there have been 20 draws. So Australia have really dominated. Incredibly, the first time these two teams met was not until the Rome Olympics in 1960. And India won that game 1-0. Ragbir Singh Bowler, who scored the goal in that match, as India are about to get us underway. Whistle goes and the third quarter underway. I should just mention as well that Ragbir Singh Bowler passed away in January this year, aged 91. So our condolences to his family and all his relations, but what a life, and obviously an Olympian. Sharp playing that straight into Barindra Lakra. Australia looking to continue the pace at which they started the match. And India, no doubt, will be looking to match it as Surrender Kumar just steps ahead of Flynn Ogilvie to win the ball back for India. Throwing the ball long, it just bounced over the shoulder of Vivek Prasad. Once again, we would like to thank the sponsors, SorelloCoachingAcademy.com. If you're interested in having them come and coach at your school or club, contact Lou at SorelloCoachingAcademy.com. And also, if you're thinking of a holiday and you're living in India or that part of the world, go to the website makemytrip.com, as they specialise in trips to Western Australia, and they've got some good packages on their website. So they've been kind enough to support this live stream of these matches into India and around the world. So we ask you to support them where possible. Jake Harvey now on the ball. Vivek Prasad just making him check his run. Josh Belts, a little bit of space. Running down the line is Craig. Good deflection, though, coming from Sumit. Nilakanta. And that was almost a very good pass. Mandeep, though, had to just check his run, and that gave Hayward a chance to step out and steal possession. Mitten to Beale now. Beale inside the circle. Beale just lifted that up towards Rupinder Pal, but he got his stick up well enough. Once again, Nilakanta Sharma getting touches in the midfield. Pushes it wide now. And Garinda down the line. Here goes Akashdeep, beaten to the ball by Josh Belts, and the free hit going Belts' way. Just took a touch off Akashdeep. Belts knew immediately. I think Akashdeep didn't want to believe it. Wetton. A strong challenge in the back from Hardik. Hardik lost his stick. Wetton continued. Vivek got a touch, but Wetton retrieved the ball. Jake Wetton, who played so much of his time in the forward line, has really revelled in that midfield role since Colin Batch just moved him back into that position. He's got so much energy and so much pace, and he's been a real driver in the engine room for Australia. So substitutes lined up down below us. It's almost like your lotto numbers. We've got 5, 13, 71, 37, all waiting to come on for India. Manpreet keeps the ball in. Lachlan Sharp now from the side. Wetton in acres of space. And Mandeep running back to try and stop Wetton, but Wetton's already released the pass to Harvey, and Harvey finding Trent Mitten. Mitten does well, used his body superbly, great strength on the ball, but stolen away by India. And Barindra Lakra, always so calm. Just think that in Barindra Lakra and Harmanpreet, you have two of the coolest defenders probably in international hockey. Wonderful skills, just inching his way along the sideline. Eventually though, free hit goes Australia's way. Daniel Beale, and he was trying to push that, and it was just a nice touch coming from Nilakanta. Harvey, oh, a lovely dummy. Sumit full stretch, and that gave Harvey the space to then change direction and go inside Sumit. Sumit, who hails from Haryana. Harvey, and that's off the foot of Sumit. So another free hit to Australia. Jeremy Hayward. What a pass to Lachlan Sharp, just pinpoint accuracy, and top of the circle Tom Craig not getting quite low enough. He got underneath that one, put it into the netting behind the goal. Srijesh back under the bar for India in this second half. Vivek just flicks it into the air, will be brought down, trying to turn his Garsabajit. And now it's Jaskaran. Jaskaran, who, as I mentioned, making his debut. Into the circle he goes, and penalised for shielding the ball. Jaskaran, who plays for the Punjab Sindh Bank. His father, former international Rajinder, is actually the coach there. Hayward again, little flick of the wrists, trying to feed it into the path of Beale. Beale setting himself such high standards. Thumbs up, but annoyed he couldn't bring that one down. Got the Jeep now. Got the Jeep, put under a little bit of pressure. Comes back to Surrender. Harmanpreet wide now. Looks to cut infield away from Govers, and Beale and Manpreet coming together, and Manpreet is the player penalised. Even though he hit the turf, he looks at the umpire as if to say, what did I do? Well, maybe he needs to get the wife onto it. She's a lawyer. Zalewski. He's been kept fairly quiet in this match. Tim Brand, good lead by him. Kotajit pursuing him wherever he goes. Eddie Ockenden, who now is the second most capped Kookaburra of all time. Only Jamie Dwyer ahead of him now. Ockenden playing his 346th match as that's deflected. India do eventually get the ball under Harmanpreet. Jamie Dwyer managing 365 caps for Australia. So you would think Ockenden will surpass Dwyer at some point. And will he become the first player to get 400 caps for the Kookaburras? That's the big question. And that was not a good pass, really asking a lot of Surrender. And Jake Wetton again finding some space, pulling away from the defenders. Now Dawson inching forward. Beale, top of the circle, gets a little shove. Stolen away well though by Jaskaran. And now there's a chance to come forward. Akashdeep pushes it down the line. Just Akashdeep drills it into the circle, and a very strong challenge again from Eddie Ockenden. Arman Qureshi is not the biggest player, but Eddie Ockenden just coming over the top of Qureshi. Ockenden now on the ball again. Jaskaran shadowing him back, preventing him playing the ball in. Ockenden does turn infield, and eventually he draws the foul, and it's a foul taken against Akashdeep. Australia, though, trying to steal a few feet. Dawson now. We've just gone past the halfway point of the third quarter. Australia so far have scored in each quarter. That was lifted high into Rapinda. Good advantage played by the umpires. Manpreet carries forward. Zalewski was running there. Akashdeep made a good run, but well, I thought there was a touch on that. That should have been maybe a long corner, but I think my eyes are deceiving me in my old age. Kleinschmidt. Belts. Hardik again putting pressure on Zalewski. Hardik, lovely story about him, was the first Hockey India League. He was a ball boy at the Mohali Stadium where the JP Punjab Warriors were playing. And of course now he finds himself playing for the national team. Great pass top of the circle, but the whistle had gone. A little bit of confusion from both sides down on the pitch, but eventually the free hit goes the way of India. Hardik again. He has some pretty talented relatives though. Hardik, his uncle is Jugraj Singh, who was a famous drag flicker for India, and his aunt is Rajbir Kaur, former captain of the Indian Eves. Lovely turn from Craig. He's lost out to Nilakantha, and it's Nilakantha though who's penalised, so free hit outside. Right, everyone's appealing for a penalty corner on the Australian side. India saying it was outside the circle, and Kleinschmidt not stopping the ball as he looked to play on. He stopped it now. Flicks it all the way back to Matthew Dawson on halfway. Howard. Great block coming from Vivek Prasad, and he gets the rebound. Good work from him. And that's not a good pass. You can see what he was trying to do, but it's just the angle was wrong for Sumit, and Zalewski collects. That will be one back though, and there's a chance. Sumit turns and gets bundled off the ball by Lachlan Sharp. Vivek Prasad again, straight into the feet of Zalewski. Vivek, who's the youngest player here for India, just 19 years of age, 37th cap for him tonight. It's the second youngest ever player to play for India as well, at 17 years, 10 months and 22 days when he made his debut last year against Japan in New Zealand. So Ogilvie comes on and gets straight away involved in the action, looking to feed it out to Trent Mitten. Kotajit though, again a former teammate of Trent Mitten's in the Hockey India League at Ranchi. Certainly there's talk that the Hockey India League will be back, and I'm sure all the players hope that it will, because it played a big part in helping India climb the rankings, and it also helped build this fantastic rivalry between these two great hockey nations. Prasad closed down in the midfield. Hardik collects, but it was good pressure from Lachlan Sharp to steal it. Zalewski now feeds Ogilvie. Ogilvie feeds it to Craig. Mitten, good run ahead. Craig's going to go to Mitten now. Mitten, it was a slightly heavy touch. It was a very difficult pass to collect as he was running away from goal. And Trent Mitten just slapping his thigh in disappointment. He would dearly love another goal tonight. Tim Howard now goes down the guts. Good steal though by India. Mandeep's made a really good run. Akashdeep needed to release the pass quicker, and he didn't, and Lachlan Sharp stole it, helped out as well by Matthew Dawson. Now Wetton out wide. Just under 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Good vision again from Dawson to pick out Josh Belts. Belts picks out Ogilvie, top of the circle. Ogilvie on the turn, but that's a brilliant block by Surrender Kumar. And paid off Ogilvie for a 16th by India. India, you feel they need a goal soon. They've still got plenty of time left with 1 quarter to come, but they would love to just be chasing 1 goal going into that final 15-minute period. And if you didn't make it across here for this trip, maybe you can come the next time India come and book your trip to Western Australia with MakeMyTrip.com. Tour specialists in India for trips to Western Australia. Vivek Prasad, lovely turn from him. Jake Wetton takes a tumble. He's yelling at the umpire, claims that maybe it was a foul from Manpreet. Watch that space. And Manpreet has gone across to apologise to Jake Wetton, who was having absolutely nothing of it. They breed them tough in Queensland. And I'm sure Jake Wetton, who spent some time in his early years working as a fishmonger, he would have learnt some choice language then. But I'm sure he didn't use it then. Harmanpreet. Lovely turn to take him away from Sharp. Looked as if he caught the foot, and yes, the whistle goes. So free hit to India. Australian players told to get back 5 metres, and again a good turn from Harmanpreet, took him away from Lachlan Sharp. The Australian players jumping away. Jake Wetton, beautiful skills again from him inside the circle, didn't panic. Now it's Mitten, he's got Govers to his right. Mitten carries through the middle, Mitten still going. Mitten into the circle, looked to try and release Ogilvie, and that was a very, very important touch coming from Gurinder. So Ogilvie now from the side. I think he's trying to kill a bit of time and then get it into the circle. Another well-timed tackle, this time from Surrender. Vivek feeds it forward. Arman Qureshi coming back and helping out in the midfield. Vivek Prasad once more. Qureshi looking to try and turn Tim Howard, and Wetton again is there. Well, Wetton must be the bane of the Indian player's life at the moment. He is everywhere, involved in everything. Howard dispossessed by Jaskaran. Jaskaran, they gave a very difficult pass to Nilakanta. And the hooter goes as Australia were looking to try and press for a final shot in that third quarter, but no opportunities in that quarter. And no saves made by Srijesh despite Australia dominating. So we go into the final break. It remains Australia 2, India 0.
Told Perth was famous for its wildlife, but we didn't expect to find it so close to the city. It was just a jump away. We managed to get the most amazing family photo ever and had an unforgettable lunch with the locals. And the fruit couldn't get any fresher. Everyone was satisfied, and our trip was just getting started. It was
just another day in Western Australia.
The players breaking up in their huddles, and once again we see the goalkeepers rotated by India. Andrew Charter not getting any game time, and Johan Durst will play the full game for Australia, his second international. And you can understand what Colin Batch is doing, because Charter and Tyler Lovell, the favoured goalkeepers, and they will no doubt be working in the FIH Pro League. This is about giving Johan Durst experience so that if needed he can step up. And what better experience than against India, number 5 ranked team in the world. The big question now is, can they find a way back in this match? They've had a few opportunities, but Durst, 2 brilliant saves to deny Harmanpreet, one from a penalty corner and then from the rebound in that third quarter. Surrender knocks it past Wetton. Manpreet gets the free hit. India, you feel, need a goal early in this quarter if they are going to mount a comeback. Good running again from Manpreet. Well, was he blocked? Yes, he was, by Dawson. I think Dawson maybe, I think the umpire was probably right not to give a penalty corner. Manpreet into the circle he goes, surrounded. Durst had to get across to his left-hand post, deflected that over the baseline. Great work by the Indian captain to get a shot away. Good defence again. Eddie Ockenden to the rescue for Australia. Talked about how Colin Batch moved Jake Wetton into the midfield, Eddie Ockenden into the defensive line as well, has been, I think, again, another great move by the coaching staff as the ball comes wide. Gurinder helps it down the line. Jaskaran, infield he goes. Vivek Prasad, great stick skills from him. Eventually, though, just tried to beat maybe one too many, and Blake Govers just bundles him off the ball. Where you do feel sometimes the Asian players physically are just disadvantaged by playing some of the bigger nations, and the physicality comes into play. And here we see Daniel Beale showcasing his wonderful stick skills. It's been dispossessed, and now we'll see the Indians just show what they can do. Just watch and admire. It's given away now, and Blake Govers looks to attack. Tim Pullman having to get out of the way pretty quickly. Infield it goes. Good skills by Brand to get that under control. Kleinschmidt now receives, holds play up on the 23-metre line. India were flooding players back, and Australia didn't have much coming forward. So clever play by Kleinschmidt. Beale, who was the man on the ball when that all started, feeds it to Jake Harvey into the circle, faced with 2 Indian players. Across the face from Kleinschmidt. Gurinder having to work really hard, and he manages to get the ball out wide. That was superb play, and Aman Qureshi breaking forward. He's got Nilakanta inside him, feeds it to Nilakanta. Jaskaran into the feet it goes. Jaskaran continues. India are looking, saying, well, there wasn't really much of an advantage, and now we're coming back for the free hit. But that would have been the icing on the cake if Jaskaran could have actually converted in his debut game. Comes to Manpreet, he shoots, saved from Durst and swept away by Jeremy Hayward. And Manpreet just swinging his stick in frustration. Did well as he was falling to get that shot away. Durst again though, up to the task under the bar for Australia. Dawson blocking that ball from Pal, and it's Kleinschmidt again. Kleinschmidt, who's shown real intelligence tonight, the way he's held play up at times when there hasn't been the support. Interesting character in that he was involved in the Australian program, dropped out of it, said he went and got a real job, and then when he got back into the frame, says he just really appreciates now, having worked on building sites, he knows what it's like, and that this is a real privilege to play for your country. So almost 4 minutes gone in the final quarter. India still trying to press. You wonder whether Graham Reid might pull the goalkeeper or not. It's obviously not important that they win this game, but in terms of preparation for the FIH Series finals, which India will be hosting in Bhubaneswar, then you feel they might want to just strike. They may have to do it in that tournament. While we mentioned Bhubaneswar, our thoughts go out to all those who were affected by the cyclone that hit that region of Odisha, and we hope that you're back to normal life very quickly. Such a friendly part of India, and they love their hockey there. belts now. Gets a good pass from Ogilvie, goes to go back to Ogilvie. Jaskaran coming back though. Good skills from him. Just stick there and stop Jaskaran with his dribbling. Harmanpreet happy to go back into the baseline, and wow, Mitten almost snuck that away as Kotajit played it out wide to Surrender. Kotajit again. Coming back to help out is Hardik. Hardik, looks as if he turned into trouble, but he's got the umpire's decision, and that will give him a little bit of relief. Harmanpreet was looking like he was going to throw the overhead pass, but thought better of it. Comes wide now to Manpreet. Manpreet cuts infield. Howard's going to go with him. Manpreet picks out Mandeep. This is danger. Mandeep plays it square. Durst again. Saves from Akashdeep, but caught the body of his defence. But Johan Durst, what a game he's having. I'm sure they'll be celebrating at the Hawthorn Hockey Club in Melbourne. He's one of their boys. And for a long time, George Baisley was keeping him out of the Hawthorn side and the Vic Vipers side. Or was it the Vic Vikings? I think it's the Vikings is the men's team, the Vipers are the girls. But anyway, he's keeping him out of the Victorian side. George Baisley, and then Durst eventually getting his chance. So Harmanpreet and Rupinder Pal. Always a threat from penalty corners at the top of the circle. Harmanpreet at the first battery, Rupinder at the second. Akashdeep to inject. Goes to Harmanpreet, stopped by Manpreet. Great stop on the line. I think that was Ogilvie. May have been just a touch off Durst, but brilliant save on the line. So still kept scoreless from penalty corners. Catching Ogilvie on the foot. And of course, although we're live streaming it, I'm afraid there is no video referral here. So India get a chance again from the penalty corners. Their last win in a test match against Australia was in November 2016 in Bendigo. And Roger van Gent was actually in charge for that series, the Dutchman. He was also part of the UP Wizards coaching team and head coach for a while. So the same two players. This time they go to Rupinder Pal, and it's another good save. In fact, it caught the foot actually as it was deflected of the Indian player. So Australia survive another penalty corner. Just can breathe just a little bit easier again. And Mitten, it was a good lead. You could see the two Western Australians trying to combine there. Zalewski trying to pick out Trent Mitten. Kotajit now. Kotajit, such a tricky customer at times. Again, he had spell out with injury, and Patak would just clean up at the back, just kicks it into the path of surrender. As he's closed down by Ogilvie. That was a tricky pass to get under control, but Rupinder Pal rolling back the years. That's a great pass as well by him to Mandeep. Mandeep, and it's just a touch taken over the baseline. Dawson trying to plead innocence. Having none of it is the umpire. Manpreet plays on. And that was, well, Zalewski gets the free hit. Australia slow the pace down. Hopefully, all those who've turned up tonight will come again on Friday night, where these two will do battle once more. Slightly later start time on Friday night at 6:30, and I can tell you, courtesy of our sponsors, Sorello Coaching Academy and also MakeMyTrip.com, specialists in tours to Western Australia from India, we will be live streaming the game on Friday as well, so we hope you'll join us for that. Kotajit takes the free hit quickly. Mandeep thwarted by Eddie Ocken and gets a bump and another bump after the ball. Eddie Ocken doesn't mind the physical stuff. Mandeep, though, he's a tough cookie too. That was deflected up into the circle. Zalewski cleaning up and then finding the foot of Kookaburras. So it looks as if time is going to be the enemy for India. And to be fair, they've created opportunities. They just haven't been able to beat Johan Durst in goal. This time Kleinschmidt coming into that 5-metre space. The decision going the way of the defender. Nilakanta goes back to Surrender. And Rupinder. Desperation again from Wetton. Feeds it to Craig. Craig looks to lay it across, sliding in. Well, that would have been a magnificent goal. Tim Brand showing his determination, his commitment, sliding in to try and get the touch. Rupinder had to take a little touch, otherwise he may have been penalised for taking too long with the free hit. Vivek Prasad has been lively for India. They have to go back again to Kookaburras. Kept in play by Manpreet, the captain. Did very well there. It was a tricky pass, and that was a good pass forward, but unfortunately Aman Qureshi unable to bring it under control on his reverse stick. And Hayward stealing a good 1.5 meters with the free hit. We're seeing a lot of teams doing that. Australia not the only ones. I've covered a lot of the FIH Pro League and also the couple of tournaments in Malaysia. We've seen teams doing that, so it's good to see the umpires clamping down on it, in my opinion. Jake Harvey cuts infield away from Nilakanta, but Akashdeep covered that space well. Hayward back to Howard. Hayward just doubling back and putting pressure on again. We're into the final 4 minutes, almost the final. It's 8 seconds to go, and India have only got 4 minutes to go. Vivek Prasad, it's a higher press now coming from India. Stolen. Kookaburras, and that's Wetton again. Well, he's been doing that all night, manages to find the foot of Harmanpreet. They're going to have the ball from the side, and Lachlan Sharp plays on quickly, but he's impeded. And I think we are going to see the goalkeeper. Are we taken off? Just trying to see. Yes, it is. Patak walking behind the goal. So India now with 11 outfield players. And just a reminder, the new rule coming in this year is there is no kicking fullback. So all of the outfield players are outfield players. Nobody has goalkeeping privileges anymore. So Wetton. Tricky pass to Belts, but Belts' reactions were superb. And Wetton again brings that down. Tim Brand now for Australia. Top of the circle, skips away. Brand, there's no goalkeeper, remember. And the deflection from Kleinschmidt. Well, Brand, he went to the air. And maybe it'd have been better just keeping that on the ground. Jake Wetton, who started the move, was waiting on the goalpost to just tap that one in. Got a goal tonight, the way he's played. Surrender. I'm sure Graham Reid, the new coach of India, will be disappointed not to get off to a winning start, but he'll be learning a lot about this team in this match. And again, just a little miscontrol from Akashdeep, top of the circle, and Beale steals it. But India steal it back, but illegally. And in fact, we're going to see a green card to Lachlan Sharp. He's on the side. And I thought we saw a green card issued to one of the Indian players, maybe not. So that means at the moment India now have 2-player advantage in the outfield. Can they make it count? That was rather casual from Harmanpreet. He's helped out in the end by his captain, but still going to be a free hit to Australia. Clock has stopped. Beale self-passed, and again looks to showcase his skill. Free hit goes India's way, and Gurinder wants to get on with things, as you can understand, because time is running out. Comes wide to Surrender. Mitten closes down. Manpreet, 2 players from Australia. Give him no chance. Mitten eventually steals it. Wetton's got Mitten going ahead. He'll go in the circle. He may shoot himself. Well, a sliding tackle from Rapinda. And a penalty corner has been given. Jake Wetton wanted the goal. Blake Govers wanted the goal. I think they would have had to debate as to who got the final touch. But it is a penalty corner to Australia instead. And even Trent Mitten is saying, come on, let us have the goal. I think he wanted to say, make mytrip.com worth it coming here tonight. Let's have the goal. Well, Australia looking to put the icing on the cake. There's under a minute and a half left. Penalty corner to them. Can they convert? They've already scored 1 penalty corner. Jeremy Hayward, he's at the first match. Blake Govers converted a penalty stroke, which was conceded. Goes to Hayward, and it goes in with no goalkeeper. Hayward gets the third for Australia. No great surprise. It was always going to be difficult for India to defend that without a goalkeeper. Of course, you can't make a substitution once a penalty corner has been given. So it is Australia 3, India 0. Jeremy Hayward getting his second goal of the match. When you think that Western Australia and Australia A struggle to score against India, this has been a good performance by the Kookaburras. Ball will break for Surrender. Can India find a consolation goal in the final minute? Lovely skills again from Akashdeep to Nilakanta. This is good by them. Oh, unlucky. Well, it was a great effort coming in from the top of the circle. And they're appealing for a penalty corner. It was Manpreet who had the shot. If it did catch a foot, I thought it was actually one of the Indian players' feet, to be honest. But it was great interplay by India around the edge of the circle. Tom Craig now, remembering there's no goalkeeper. Craig accelerates across the pitch. Govers, oh my word, what a finish, Blake Govers. Well, if you thought the penalty corner was the icing on the cake, think again. That was the candles, the decorations, the whole lot. Blake Govers, what a finish. Okay, there was no goalkeeper, but he was still a very acute angle and managed to hit that on the reverse stick into the goal. And it is now Australia 4, India 0. And you'd have to say maybe that scoreline a little bit harsh on India. 2 goals conceded after they pulled their goalkeeper. Something that I'm sure they're just trying because of the FIH Series finals coming up at the start of next month. And of course, the top 2 teams in that tournament go through to the Olympic qualifiers. Now the hooter goes, and that is the end of the first test match, the 125th test match between these 2 nations, and it is Australia who win their 83rd game against India by a score that reads 4-0. It was Blake Govers who opened the scoring with a penalty stroke in the 15th minute. Jeremy Hayward scored 2 penalty corners, 1 in each half. That made it 2-0 and then 3-0. And then Blake Govers, who started the scoring, finished it with an absolute screamer on the reverse stick. And that made it 4-0. So the final score here at the Perth Hockey Stadium is Australia 4, India 0.
We spent the afternoon checking out Perth's amazing street art. But as the sun went down, the entire city came alive with color. There were so many places to explore. We ate as much as we could handle. The city was just buzzing. And at the end of the night, it was easy to find a place to relax. It was
just another day in Western Australia.
Hi guys, Chris Sorello here from Chris Sorello Hockey and Sorello Coaching Academy. Really looking forward to having a team here in Perth on this ground to play against international teams. We have teams in under 16s boys and girls and under 18 boys and girls. For more information, please contact Lou at Chris Sorello Hockey or at lou@sorellocoachingacademy.com.au. Also, come and visit us in store at Chris Sorello Hockey Shop or online and check out our great new stick, the CC5 Big Dog 95, and all our hockey accessories. Whilst there, check out our training facility with near 200 square metres of artificial turf to train on. To find out more about Sorello Coaching Academy, about our tours, coaching and training sessions, please contact Lou on the following details.